Imagine waking up one morning to find that something completely bizarre is gone. No, not your keys or your wallet. We're talking about things you had never think someone would steal in the first place, from priceless historical artifacts to whole animal enclosures. Yes, whole animals. The US has seen some truly strange thefts. Ready to hear about the weirdest things ever stolen in the US? Stay tuned, because this list is about to get wild. Number 1. Imagine walking into a museum one day and realizing that an entire dinosaur skeleton is missing. Well, that happened in 1997 when someone stole a 75-million-year-old dinosaur skeleton from the Natural History Museum in Los Angeles. How do you even get away with something like that? Number 2. You think road signs are just there for safety, but in 2011, someone in Ohio had a different idea. They stole a giant Welcome to Ohio road sign. The sign was later recovered, but not before raising a lot of questions about road sign security. Number 3. This next one will seriously make you question humanity. In 2019, a solid gold toilet worth $6 million was stolen from a palace in England. You're probably asking yourself, why would anyone steal a toilet, let alone a gold toilet? Well, it turns out it was part of an art installation, and the thief managed to make off with it. Literally. The toilet was recovered, but can you imagine using that as your getaway vehicle? Number 4. In 2002, two thieves stole a massive animal enclosure from a zoo in Pennsylvania. The enclosure was meant to house rare birds, and it wasn't exactly small. We're talking a structure that weighed tons. How on earth did they plan on selling something like that? Did they think it was just a cool backyard feature? The thieves were caught, but only after the stolen animals were relocated. Number 5. In 2005, someone in Oregon decided it would be a great idea to steal an entire 150-year-old tree. They managed to dig it up and cart it off in the middle of the night. How does someone steal a tree without anyone noticing? This heist was so strange that it left people questioning. Did the thief think they could sell it as the world's most expensive bonsai? Number 6. In 2012, a group of thieves in the Midwest managed to steal a meteorite from a science museum worth $30,000. A chunk of rock from outer space, just sitting there in a display case, and someone took it. It's like stealing a piece of the cosmos. How do you even fence something like that? Number 7. In 2003, thieves in the Pacific Northwest managed to steal 30,000 pounds of trees. This wasn't just some random logging operation. They took it from private land, with the trees valued at over $1 million. How do you steal a whole forest? Do you chop it down in the dead of night and then load it up? The tree thieves were eventually caught, but not before causing massive environmental damage. Number 8. In 2000, a group of thieves managed to steal a huge 15-foot-long walrus statue from a Florida museum. This wasn't just any ordinary sculpture. It was carved from a giant piece of rock. But nope, the statue was gone, and it took years for authorities to track it down. Who would steal a walrus and why? Number 9. In 2017, thieves in New Jersey stole a snowplow. But this wasn't just any snowplow. It was a massive $150,000 snowplow that was parked at the local Public Works Department. They didn't just swipe it and drive off, no, they hooked it up to a truck and drove it away. Who needs a snowplow that badly? Maybe they just really wanted to clear the streets. Or maybe they had some serious snow clearing plans in mind. Either way, the snowplow was recovered after an intense search. Number 10. In 2000, a pygmy hippo was stolen from the San Francisco Zoo. These little creatures are incredibly rare, and it turns out that someone thought they could just walk into the zoo and make off with one. How? The thief managed to get the hippo out of its enclosure and vanish with it without leaving much of a trace. Fortunately, after months of searching, the animal was found. But the motive remains a mystery. Why would you steal such a rare, vulnerable animal? Number 11. In 2005, someone took a chunk out of the world's largest ball of twine in Cawker City, Kansas. Imagine visiting a small town and being greeted by a giant ball of twine that's a local treasure, only to have part of it stolen. What kind of person would steal twine? Was this an elaborate prank? Or was someone just trying to get a piece of the record-breaking ball for themselves? Number 12. In 2011, a group of thieves in Canada decided to swipe 500 gallons of maple syrup, worth over $1 million. Where would you even sell 500 gallons of maple syrup? Number 13. In 2013, a giant inflatable rubber duck was stolen from a park in Pennsylvania. The duck, which was around 60 feet long, had been part of a promotional display. Someone thought it would be a great idea to cart it away, and for a while, no one knew where it went. Was it just a prank, or was there a deeper duck-related motive? The duck was eventually recovered, but it was a serious case of inflatable theft. Number 14. In 2014, someone made off with an extremely rare medieval sword worth over $250,000. The sword had been on display at the Seattle Art Museum for decades. Not only was this sword a historic artifact, but it was also an irreplaceable piece of history. The thief was caught when they tried to sell it on the black market. The idea of swiping something like that? Just wild. Number 15. In a truly bizarre case, in 2014, a criminal ring managed to steal an entire electric power plant from a remote site in California. Now, we're not talking about the whole plant. They swiped parts of it, such as transformers and copper wiring, worth millions of dollars. It's crazy to think that people would be bold enough to strip an entire industrial plant for parts. But this crew sure did, selling the metal on the black market. This heist caused power outages in the area, and it took months to fully repair. Number 16. In 1982, a replica of the Statue of Liberty, measuring a towering 8 feet tall, was stolen from a park in New Jersey. Who would steal such an iconic symbol of freedom? Was it some kind of twisted protest? Or was it just someone thinking? Number 17. In 2008, someone in Washington state decided to swipe one of the most famous prints from the Bigfoot Field Research Organization's display. Why? Because the story of Bigfoot is legendary, and who wouldn't want to own a piece of that history? But imagine trying to sell something like that. Number 18. In 2006, two criminals in California pulled off one of the most unusual heists ever. They stole sturgeon fish from a local hatchery, worth over $100,000. These weren't just any fish, they were rare, prized for their roe, which is used to make caviar. Did they plan to sell the fish? Or were they just after the luxury caviar? Number 19. If you thought cheese was safe, think again. In 2012, 60,000 pounds of cheese were stolen from a warehouse in Wisconsin. Yes, you heard that right. It was a $5 million cheese heist. What on earth would you do with 60,000 pounds of cheese? Sell it? Eat it all? Build a fort? No one really knows, but the criminals were never caught. And to this day, the mystery of the missing cheese remains unsolved. Number 20. In 2003, someone had the audacity to steal a fully operational airplane from a Kansas airport. The thief, who was never identified, took off in the small aircraft, only to be found abandoned in a field a few days later. How did they even learn how to fly it? Was this a case of someone being a natural at flying, or was this just one of the craziest moments of reckless criminal history? Number 21. In 2020, an ice cream truck was stolen in California. But this wasn't just any truck, it was packed full of ice cream and treats. The thief managed to steal the truck and take off, leaving behind the owner and customers in shock. The truck was later found abandoned, but all the ice cream had been stolen. Well, there you have it. 51 of the weirdest, most bizarre things ever stolen in the US. Which of these strange thefts shocked or amused you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another wild story.